Hello friends, Sarah Sunstone here, bringing you the latest gaming news with Sunnyside Up. Today is August 12th, 2025. Coral Island shared an all-new trailer and developer blog for the game's next update, version 1.2, which introduces multiplayer and romance to this farming simulation title. Plus, we officially have a release date for this new version, and it's just around the corner. So let's get into all the latest from Stairway Games, the team behind this lovely game. Of course, as I mentioned, there is a brand new trailer for this update, which I actually worked on in collaboration with Stairway Games, so be sure to check that out if you haven't seen it yet. I also absolutely love the new cover art for this update. It looks so lovely, so charming, so nice to see so many of the NPCs and some of them wearing new outfits, which we'll talk about later. It's been a while since we received a developer blog from Stairway Games, so they started out with a quick recap on what exactly we can expect in this new version of the game. First and foremost, we have multiplayer gameplay, which includes co-op fieldwork, so you can team up to share resources and daily tasks. There's also co-op farming, so you can expand your farm, grow crops together, build bigger barns, and create the farm of your dreams with others. You can also take on other activities together like mining, diving, bug catching, fishing, and more. You can also marry another player with multiplayer marriage and actually have children together if you so choose. So basically you could experience all that Coral Island has to offer, but now with up to 4 total players. And we will circle back to some of the more practical and technical details of multiplayer later on in the video when we cover the FAQ portion of the developer blog, so stay tuned. By the way, if you appreciate these news videos, let me know by shining the lovely like button, and make sure you're subscribed to the channel with your notifications on so you don't miss out on any breaking news. Now back to the update. Solo players will also have some new gameplay features and updates to experience with version 1.2, starting with revamped romance progression. The update will include all new hangout events, so you can spend some quality time with your favorite islanders through optional mini events, allowing you to connect in new ways. There will also be new hangout cutscenes for the NPCs that are separate from the existing hard events, and these will focus on your personal bond with each character. I think this is especially nice, and from what I've experienced so far, it is really lovely. Some of the existing hard events do focus more so on that specific NPC and their relationship with other NPCs around the island versus your individual relationship with them. So these events are definitely going to address that. If you felt like that was missing a little bit, you're really going to be able to bond with the characters better on a one-on-one level. Now, for players who have already tied the knot, this update includes some new post-marriage heart events from hearts level 11 to 15, and these will feature deeper conversations, revealing your spouse's dreams, fears, and aspirations, along with some special cutscenes highlighting intimate moments in daily life, anything from quiet mornings together to romantic dates that will bring you closer. And spooky season has arrived early because this update will include spooky outfits for every dateable character, and these outfits can be spotted at the Spooky Festival every fall season. From what we've seen so far, there are some really cute costumes, there's some really funny references. I mean, here we have Scott dressed as Mayor Connor, we have Pablo as, I believe, The Rock, we have Alice and Suki wearing some matching costumes, Macy as a goddess. In the official cover art, we can also see Mark as an angel and Leah as a devil. These are also both included in the trailer. You can also spot Kenny dressed as a cowboy in the trailer and Eva as Tinkerbell. I absolutely had to include that one because I think it is so precious. And although they did not mention this in the developer blog, I did also want to note that some of the NPCs will have special workout athletic outfits now. So when they're going to do yoga in the square, they'll actually change into proper athletic wear, which will definitely make hitting those yoga poses a lot easier for them, I'm sure. So you can get a preview of that in the trailer as well. But that essentially sums up all of the main content for this update. It's honestly so exciting that multiplayer is finally here, and there are so many amazing new touches being added as well. The spooky outfits are so fun, but the revamped romance I think is really going to be a standout for so many of you. So I really hope you guys enjoy that. Now, next up in the developer blog, we are finally getting some information on the really exciting collaboration between Coral Island and Fungi Swarm. In case you are unfamiliar, aware, Stairway Games is actually working on their second game. However, it's being created by a different team who's under the umbrella of Stairway Games, so it's not the folks who are working on Coral Island. While Fungi Swarm has a similar art style to Coral Island in many ways, it is a very, very different game. This is one of those survivor games where you're essentially being like ambushed by a ton of enemies, and you literally have to survive, you upgrade, you unlock new weapons, new perks, all that sort of thing. Rinse and repeat until you become more powerful and you can survive longer, encounter new enemy types, so on and so forth. I have played the demo for this. It is surprisingly fun. I have never played a game like this before, but I had a really good time trying it out and definitely got hooked in the loop. And Fungi Swarm is actually already going to be launching into early access on August 21st for just $4.99 on Steam. And to celebrate this, they're doing this special collaboration, a little crossover moment with some exclusive redeemable in-game goodies. And these goodies are super cool, you guys. First, we've got an exclusive outfit called the Fungarian outfit. There's also a chest and crafting recipe for that chest, so you can make as many as you'd like. It's a very cute like mushroom theme, but also like quite shiny and polished and aesthetic. Of course, I would have to say the standout item from this little pack is a mythical pet outfit, which is honestly so exciting, especially for those folks who missed out on getting the exclusive Kickstarter mythical pets. So this one's called Resdy. I don't even know what this critter is, but I love them. They almost look like a cross between like a puppy, a deer. They've got a pom-pom tail. And how these mythical pet outfits work, in case you're unfamiliar, is once you unlock your mythical pet in Coral Island, you can simply equip basically like a skin to that pet. You give it to them as like a gift almost, and then they wear it. They become that mythical pet, and you can also unequip it if you want it to go back to your usual mythical pet. So this is really exciting, and I cannot wait to check out these items in game. And finally, the team did address some frequently asked questions, so we're gonna go through these one by one and see what they have to say. So the first question, of course, is when is the Switch release? This is what we're all wondering. This is what we all want to know. This has been long awaited, highly anticipated. However, unfortunately, they do not have any updates right now, but they will be sharing news as soon as they can. I hope it's sometime this year, to be honest, because we have been waiting for news on this for so long, and I'm sure some of it is outside of their control based on what they've shared in the past. The good news is that in their answer, they said, "We know you're excited for the Switch version, and we are too," which kind of just reaffirms that it does exist and it is coming. However, they're probably bound to some sort of agreement where they're not able to say anything yet, is what I would guess. But please note, this is all purely speculation. The next question is asking if there will be divorce in the game. They simply responded by saying no, not at the moment, and they don't have anything to share on that feature right now. Now, in case you guys didn't know, you can have, I believe, up to like 99 save files in the game. So if you want to have separate save files to marry different characters, you can totally do that on different playthroughs. However, I fully realize that that's not the most convenient, and it might be nice to, if you want to change your mind, it's nice to have that option. I totally get that. I would hope that if they didn't have plans to implement this, they would just say no to avoid keeping folks on the hook for hopes. While they didn't confirm anything here, they're not completely ruling it out, so we'll just have to stay tuned to see if that changes, if they have anything to share about that moving forward. Now, the next question is with regards to multiplayer and romance, so both aspects of this update combined. It asks, what if two players are courting the same NPC? So what if you and your friend both want to marry Raphael? Well, the answer is that it's seriously just a race to the altar, so whoever proposes first will win the NPC's heart. However, keep in mind, the proposal does have to be accepted. The next question asks if you can still see past hangout events if you're already married. Because remember, I know it's a little bit confusing, but the hangout events are new and different from the heart events. And these hangout events will unlock as you progress over the course of your relationship with the NPC. The answer to this is that in this version 1.2, you will not be able to replay hangouts with the NPC you've married. So unfortunately, you will be locked out of seeing those previous events. However, the team is working on adding these to the Tablet of Memories, which is an in-game item where you can go back and see all the different cutscenes that you've unlocked. So those will be added as well to the Tablet of Memories, so you can actually experience all of those events later on once that feature is ready, which is awesome because I was so worried that we would just be missing out on all of these new events. But that's not the case just for now, so we will have to wait on that, but I'm happy to see that they are working on something to address that. Now, the next question, we're already moving on from 1.2 to 1.3. When will 1.3 be released? And this is the update that's going to feature children growing up, in case you're unfamiliar, among other things. But I know that children growing up feature is one of the most highly anticipated as well. Now, the team actually shared that they're aiming for the second half of 2025, but closer toward the end of the year. They further shared that if those plans change, they will give us a heads up right away. So that's actually really exciting if they can deliver on that we'll actually be getting another update before the year is over. So maybe set your sights for a December release so you're not, too disappointed if it doesn't come until the very end of the year. And of course, stay tuned to see if those plans get pushed back at all, in the meantime. The next question asks whether multiplayer will have split screen or local co-op, and unfortunately, that is a no. So there's no local or couch co-op for Coral Island. The way they're wording this makes it kind of seem like that's the final answer. They're not saying like, oh, we're gonna implement it later, or we're gonna think about it or address it, or we don't have anything to show right now. They're just saying no, it's not available. So that is a little bit disappointing to me because I think local co-op, couch co-op, split screen co-op, whatever you want to call it, I feel like it's becoming less and less common, and I think it's just so valuable to be able to sit down on, the same console and share an experience with friends, family, loved ones, rather than having to have, two PCs, two PlayStations. So yeah, that is disappointing for sure. So if you were hoping to play this with someone on the same console or PC, it's unfortunately not going to happen. You'll need to have multiple consoles to make it work, and you'll have to be doing online co-op. So you will need that internet connection. The next series of questions are about crossplay because while the game does have crossplay, there are some limitations for this. Crossplay being the ability to connect over multiplayer with players who are using different systems. So you can play together on Steam and Xbox or Steam and PlayStation. However, Xbox and PlayStation cannot be in the same session. So that does also mean that you cannot play with all three platforms at once. So you wouldn't be able to have someone hosting on Steam invite someone on PlayStation and Xbox. This does also mean that if someone is hosting on Steam and already playing with an Xbox friend or a PlayStation friend, and the opposite platform tries to join, they won't be able to join that session. You'll have to start a completely new session to play with the friend or family member on the different console. And the same thing goes for if someone on one of those consoles is hosting. You can't have someone from another console, meaning PlayStation to Xbox or Xbox to PlayStation, join that session. You cannot mix. So I know that sounds very confusing. Really, the only thing you need to know is that you cannot cross PlayStation and Xbox players together in any kind of session, no matter who's hosting, no matter who's joining with Coral Island specifically. I'm not sure why this is. It must be something to do with the different platforms. There are plenty of games that have crossplay between PlayStation and Xbox, so it's not like it's an impossible thing to do, but there must be some kind of technical aspects or contractual aspects or who knows what that are preventing these two platforms from being able to be part of crossplay, at the same time. So it is unfortunate, but I guess it is what it is. Of course, I will have this dev blog linked in the description if you want to read through all this yourself. If you have any questions about setting up those lobbies or switching the console you're paired with, all of that, that's all included there, so you can read through that and reference it if and when you need to. And finally, I know you're all wondering, when is this update actually releasing? And it is just around the corner. So Coral Island 1.2 is releasing across platforms on August 14th. So when I say just around the corner, I mean just around the corner. I hope you all enjoy it when you get a chance to play. Well, there you have it, friends. That's the latest news for Coral Island. Let me know down in the comments which aspect of this update you are most excited for, curious about. Let me know if you're going to be picking up Fungi Swarm, either to try the game, get the Coral Island goodies, or both. Anything and everything. I always love hearing from you. And with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I love you all. And until next time, take care.